Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So I just want to take a little bit of time and kind of try and show you exactly what happens to your overhead squat if we don't quite have the ankle range of motion that we need. In the overhead squat, almost all the time, our shoulders and upper back get blamed. And a lot of the times that is something that we can improve on, but a lot of the times that's not the only culprit. And immature, undeveloped, not quite all the way there squat can cause huge issues that feel like it's shoulder stuff. So really what we're looking at is in the overhead squat, we want to create, just like that push-up position, creating that external rotation up into the bar so we have a nice solid platform with our shoulder rotated the way that really kind of puts a lot of force into our back instead of onto the front delts that would happen if we kind of shrug forward or shrug up a little bit too much. So what we're looking for is that position, and if I'm standing just straight up and down, then that bar is just about over the back of my neck, and that's going to be in my head. That's kind of my visual cue for myself of knowing where that balance is on the bar. So inevitably, as I squat, my back angle is going to come forward. So we can't squat just perfectly upright. Inevitably, we're going to have some torso lean. So as I squat, my shoulders are going to have to account for this. So really what ends up happening is as I squat and get torso lean, I've got to do this a little bit. So really as I'm squatting, I'm actually doing a little bit here, and this is why we hammer everybody in our warm-ups with their pass-throughs. We see so many people go pinkies off, bent elbows, and they immediately go here because we need to develop that pinky knuckle onto the barbell, create that external rotation, and develop that position back before we kind of give up and do the full pass-through there. But we need to create that solid position with that kind of extended up overhead. So as I'm squatting down, I'm trying to keep that bar straight over that position. So if you go ahead and look down at my ankles, in that position, my knee is actually tracking a little bit over the toes. And I'm lacking ankle range maybe just a hair, so if I could get those knees just a hair further, I'd be able to be just a little more upright. That's something I'm working on. My ankles have come so far and they're almost there. But what I'll show you is when I pull my knees back in my squat, that's going to mimic what my squat used to look like, and that's going to mimic me not having the proper ankle range of motion. So as I squat down, okay, this is where I can go now, but before that's where I can go. And you can just see, look at my torso angle change. So if I'm going to try and keep that bar balanced over the back of my neck, as my torso angle changes, now I get into a position like this. No wonder you think it's your shoulders. Man, that's a tough position for shoulders, and they're going to really struggle. So as we're missing ankle range, we kind of go down, and as soon as the ankles can't go anymore, then it's all going to be in the hips. And if the ankles get stuck right there, then the only way to try and keep going down is just kind of leaning into it. So that's kind of the classic squat we see, is that vertical shin coming down this way. That's the classic squat we see for people with tight ankles, and it almost always causes a lot of issues in the overhead squat. So is it your ankles? Is it your shoulders? Is it your hips? We've got a lot of movement tests on the site that you can do to narrow down which one of these it is. But usually you can just kind of tell by looking and tell by somebody's ability to sit in the bottom of a squat. And if those shins are mostly vertical and that torso angle is up in these ranges, they're going to really struggle trying to get weight overhead in the overhead squat. Hope that helps provide some insight into kind of the holistic picture of what's going on. We're a system, and where we feel pain or where we struggle isn't always where the problem is. So we need to get down to the root of these things. Hope that helps. Talk to y'all soon.